Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Easy Mini Painting with me, Christopher Ridge, and we are going to knock out the hunting horrors that come with Mansions of Madness, 2nd edition. I think that these ones are pretty cool. Now, one of the big reasons that I decided to do this series was because I really like the most recent or the current printings of the board game because the miniature sculpts are much nicer. You can kind of compare these particular hunting horrors to the original ones that came with the original printings of the 2nd edition game, and it is night and day. These are such better sculpts. So I'm really excited to knock these guys out here. I had a lot of fun painting them, and I hope that you will too. So why don't we just get started here?
Alright, well the very first thing that I did was I started off with a base coat of alien purple, and I just wanted that nice, dark, sort of alien-looking, slimy purple color, and I think that that will make a really good first coat. Then we're going to move on to a color that I don't think I've actually used for the channel here yet, but it's called Voidshield Blue, and it's just a really light blue, really nice, saturated sky blue color. And I'm going to use a big dry brush here. I'm just going to take a big, fat, flat brush here, and we're going to dry brush the basically entirety of the miniature with this Voidshield Blue. And I think that the combination of dark purple and light blue will give us that nice, cool, sort of out-of-this-world eldritch horror kind of look to it. So we'll just go over the entirety of the body here. We're going to do just everything, basically. And as you can see as well, I went ahead and used my own bases for these particular miniatures. I've been on record before, I'll say it again, I don't really care for the bases that come with the actual game. I don't know, they're weird. They're just weird. You know, I get that they were designed to be able to use the monster tokens, but honestly, you don't even really need the monster tokens, I would say. So anyway, yeah, just go ahead and go over the entirety of each of the bodies here with this Sky Shield Blue. It's just a nice bright blue color. And then yeah, that combination there of that purple and blue color has a really cool sort of look to it. There you go. And then yeah, you've got a cool blue and purple color scheme going there, and everything will sort of fill in as well whenever we go over them with our shade at the very end of everything too. But that looks great. So yeah, you just want to take a nice thick, dry brush here, just go ahead and go over the entirety of everything. We're gonna go ahead and do something weird with the wings as well, but we'll go over that soon later anyway. But yeah, that's what you want. You want that nice blue and purple color. So I'll just do the same thing with the other one here. Beautiful. Got a nice color scheme going there. Alright, so I'm going to rinse off my dry brush completely because I'm completely done with that. Then we're going to move on to some pure red. And we're going to use that for the eyes and a little bit with the wings, and we're going to do some other fun stuff, but yeah, pure red. Luckily, you don't need a super detailed brush with these eyes because those eyes are nice and big. They're pretty prominent. But I'll just go ahead and dot each of those eyes there. Just really quickly. Nothing special. Very large eyes. There you go, so you just want nice, bright red eyes there. Then, we're going to also just go ahead and line the entirety of the mouths. Just go ahead and coat the entirety of the insides of the mouths, because we want those to be kind of red and just, a little bit of a different color from the actual skin tone. We're going to dry brush the inside of the mouth as well later on. There you go, just nice, bright red mouth there. That'll do fine on that. Same thing with the other one. Alright, then we're going to do some dry brushing with this red color as well. So I'll take out a smaller dry brush here. This is just sort of a regular small size dry brush. And I kind of want to bring out those wings a little bit. I want for them to have a slightly different color from the actual skin tone. So same thing, we'll just get a dry brush here, same thing where we're going to load up some paint onto it, wipe off most of it, and then just go over the entirety of the wings here. with this pure red color, and I think that that will give us a nice sort of color variation from the wings and the skin itself. All right, there you go. So now we've got some nice, cool purple and red wings there. I think that those look pretty neat. Yeah, I'm really happy with those, with how those turned out. The last thing that we're going to do with this pure red and this dry brush is I'm just going to basically get a nice sort of subtle glowing effect on the eyes. Just go ahead and dry brush around the eyes with this red color, and that will give you, like I said, it's subtle, it's not super obvious or prominent, but it just kind of invokes this sort of illusion of glowing eyes. Something like that. There we go. Okay, cool. And now we're done with that pure red color, so I'm going to rinse that brush off. Then we're going to move on to some Warlock Purple. It's just a nice sort of, pink color here. And we'll just use a small brush, a small sort of, rough brush as well. And we're just going to dry brush the inside of the mouth with this. Then we'll just give it a nice sort of soft, fleshy, mouth-like kind of coloration. There you go, just a little like that. And you can just kind of see the difference between the two, if I could get them to focus. Yeah, kind of like that. You can just kind of see that it has just a little bit more of a nice sort of extra color to it. And, everything will sort of fill in as well when we go over everything with the shade later on as well. There you go. All right, that's all that we're going to do with that. We don't need very much with that. That's just a little extra thing. I would say maybe if you really don't want to do that, you probably don't have to. But I still, nonetheless, decided to do it. Then we're going to move on to some skeleton bone, and we're going to use that for the teeth and the sort of talons that are coming off of the wings as well. Now, I will use a smaller brush, not like a super fine detailed brush, but one that's just got a nice sharp point on it, because we are going to be going over the teeth, which are, on the smaller side of the miniature, comparatively speaking, that is. There we go. All right, so now we've got our nice teeth on the hunting horror there. That looks pretty cool. All right, same thing with the other one. Okay. So yeah, now we've got the teeth on both of our hunting horrors, and then the last thing that we're going to do with this same color, with the same brush and everything like that, like I said, there are sort of like these talons that are on the wings. And yeah, you might as well just go ahead and go over those. Just a little bit of color variety just to show that maybe there's some extra sharp, some danger on there. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, the arms aren't really well defined. They're not super clear. They're much better than the old versions of the miniatures. Geez, those things were... Yeah, Fantasy Flight, I love you guys, but that first, printing of 2nd edition of Mansions of Madness, those were some bad miniatures. They were not great. The hunting horrors, especially, were pretty unspectacular, I'll say. But this current printing that they have here, one of the reasons why I decided to get it, these are much better. Still not super well defined, still not, super high quality, but much better, and I'm much happier with them. All right, a little something like that. That's most of the entirety of them. Now we're just going to go over them with our quick shade. I'm going to make sure that they're totally dry, though. The usual thing of me just giving them a few minutes to make sure that they're dry, because you don't want to go over miniatures with a quick shade when any of your paint is still wet at all. So I'll give them a few minutes and I'll be right back. Alright, I think that those are pretty well completely dried now, so now we'll move on to a wash, and rather than use strong tone like we usually do, we're going to use a little bit of a softer one. We're going to use Flesh Wash here. And that'll still give us the shade that we want, it'll still give us a nice color variation, nice color variety, but I think that it'll just be a little bit softer and a little bit more flesh-like, a little bit more slimy. And you can just use any sort of fat, no-name brush that you want to. And if you want, you might even water it down a little bit, just because it is pretty thick. So I'll just take, like a brush here, just dip it into my water, just a little bit like that, just absorb a little bit of water on there, and then you can just mix that in with your wash, with your quick shade, and that'll just kind of help to thin it down just a little bit more. Oh, I think I just realized that there are some talons like kind of on the bottom of the wings here. So yeah, I suppose if you want, you could probably go over those as well, but probably not a big deal if you just kind of leave them, similarly to how I did there. I'm receiving a phone call. Hold on just a moment. Okay, sorry about that. My mom just called me, and we were just catching up a little bit there. That's pretty much it, actually. That was decent timing, because that's all of the wash on one of them here, and that, I think, is pretty decent. Nice and colorful, a lot of weird, dark colors going on there. That's the kind of thing that we're looking for. So we'll just do the same thing with the other one. And then we're going to let them completely dry, and that's it. We're really done. If you want, you could do a little bit more. You could probably take, like, some yellow. You could probably take a little bit of demonic yellow, and you could probably just dot the eyes just in the very center to give them a sort of extra glowing effect, but I would say that that's optional. You don't have to do it. And then I'm also going to go over everything with a varnish like I typically do, but instead of using a matte varnish, I think for these guys, I'm going to use a gloss varnish, because I want them to be slimy and slippery and wet and gross looking. So yeah, apply this shade, and then you're done. And you can do whatever you want optionally after that, but if all you want are just the miniatures ready to go, done, this is it. You are all set.
Alright everybody, and that's it. Those are the hunting horrors for Mansions of Madness, and I think that they turned out okay. I sort of wish that maybe the blue was a little bit more saturated, but I think that kind of works with the sort of desaturated, brownish, horror-like color scheme that I feel like is sort of appropriate with the game overall. So that's it. If you liked the video, go ahead and throw it a like. If you want to see the rest of the core set to Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Not sure what minis I'm going to knock out next week. I've been putting a little bit of thought into it. I'm sort of considering doing the High Priest of Dagon and the 2 ghosts that come with the game, but we'll just kind of play it by ear and we'll decide what we want to do. So thank you everybody for watching. I won't take up any more of your time. We'll see you next time.